Alright, what up YouTube? It's the Nice in here back with another video. And this video is going to be about, it's going to be me reading the first law of domination, which is how the dominating mind works for you. I'm about to go through the whole book of The Law of Mental Domination by Rudolph. I already read the introduction. I didn't go through the chapters, but I'm just going to read the chapters all the way through, so it's not going to really matter. I might talk about, my experience or what my thoughts on some parts of the chapter, but more than likely I'm gonna post that on like my Patreon, or I might just drop a snippet on here. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. How the dominating mind works for you. The first law. Your first important step in mastery of mental domination is to learn the basis of the dominating mind. So follow closely. Everything is in this law. In order to acquire the dominating mind, you have to cast out full blast all fears of doubts and your ability to please others, all antagonisms toward any member of human race, all eagerness to get the best of anyone, all the feelings of superiority over anybody. Get rid of yourself, of all of feelings of self, all feeling of being the single and all important being. Cast out all the desire to rule and subjugate others, or to compete against them in anything. Cast out all temptations to compare yourself with them, either to your own advantage or disadvantage. Cast out all urges to impress people or to look down upon them. Do not feel like a show-off. Don't feel, of course, like nobody is being tolerated by others. Envy no one anything he has, but don't pine over the fact that you have more yourself. If Jack or Jane is taller and handsomer than you, banish those comparisons out your mind. All such hostile thoughts in which you secretly wish to remake yourself and someone else, and to bless yourself with the inviolable traits and curse them with your unwanted ones showing your face, no matter how hard you try to conceal them. Even if you hide them from your face, they creep into your voice and your general manner. Jack or Jane feel strange and impeccable, frigidly, in the atmosphere around you and is repelled by it. Neither can you acquire a dominating mind unless you free yourself from worry. If you are sensitive, you cannot help but suffer. Wherever you go, from slights and insults and unfriendly thoughts, messages from people who dislike you, a major portion of these messages will purely be imaginative on your part, but some of them will be actual enough to start you worry. Since you cannot devote the major part of your life to the unprofitable struggle of getting and overcoming psychological complexes, you have to develop an immediate block to prevent them from implanting themselves in your mind in the first place. Don't wait until you are worrying chronically about oppressive influence to put an end to it. Block it out of your psyche the moment you sense it and disturbing your peace. Rubberize yourself against it. Don't dodge the issue by thinking about something else, for that pushes the already implanted mental virus deep into your brain. When you feel the gnawing within oppressing you, following a misunderstanding with someone, halt all introspection in your mind at once before that mental virus and bury yourself inside of you. The swindler stratagem. You can still dislike the other person and still fool them about your feelings towards them. The swindler does it regularly. He does it by maintaining a running conversation with his prospective victim, which prevents the latter from listening to the warnings from his subconscious. In that way, the swindler prevents his prospective victim from introspecting and responding to his hunches. Hunches are frequently telepathic impressions spontaneously received. When the swindler departs, taking his aura with him, his victim loses contact with him and does not wise up through psychic feeling. The victim mind, in addition, is left teeming with the false visual and auditory impressions it receives from the swindler is tight shut against all logic concerning the matter. His imagination builds up the swindler into a demigod. The swindler, to summarize, conceals this true opinion of the prospect through a running commentary of words and endless flow of wit and clever flattery. Aside from the nefarious aspect of the case, the swindler's stratagem requires an extraordinary amount of quick, natural wit. The least error he makes in the attempt will cause the plot to be exposed or will arouse fatal suspicion. The swindler's stratagem is hardly worth the risk involved. The same way to ignore rude people. With a dominating mind, you have nothing to fear from other person, nothing to conceal from. If he is sulky and still dislikes you, as sometimes happen, even after you try to win them over, stop wasting your time. An astounding percentage of people who can mentally dominate overlook the comparative small number who can't be or are too difficult to be influenced, but don't come to grips with them. Have to avoid encounter them thereafter. Don't exhaust your mind power regularly in this situation. If such a person ignores you rudely, ignore him thereafter as you would ignore a puddle of water on the street. Don't drain yourself of mental vitality as you approach him and end up deploring the occurrence for the rest of the day. A rude person is not rude to you alone. He is rude to almost everybody. He antagonizes others and receives their indignation in return. If you adopt a bigger attitude towards him, it will subconsciously creep into your dealings with others, and you will lose your mental domination over them. The dominating mind, self-conscious. The dominating mind banishes self-consciousness, and you are self-conscious when you doubt your ability to please or control others. You are not self-conscious when you are alone in your room with a pet or a dumb animal that you don't worry about pleasing. When self-conscious, you not only waste your mind power and needless worry about your ability to please others, but you also put your best foot forward with them. They are understanding people who can still like you if you are self-conscious once. They know you will, but if you associate with them only now and then, they could misinterpret your self-consciousness and regard you as a selfish, arrogant. How the dominating mind overcomes nervous tension. The dominating mind brings you in another important blessing. It relieves you of tension of trying to give yourself courage, confidence, and other positive traits. Adopting new traits builds up tension, particularly if it is based upon nothing specific. You cannot acquire confidence in being charming, for example, merely by assuming a confident manner. Confidence in the end is the product of a mastered skill. Blind confidence is of little value because sooner or later you are judged out of it by failure in performance. The same thing is true with courage and other positive attitudes. It is no different with negative mental traits like general lack of confidence and courage. These evolve from failure that abound when you try to learn a new skill. Never assume hastily that you cannot do something right just because you did it wrong before, but neither should you assume you can do it attitude about any skill unless you can do it right. How to develop the basis of a dominating mind, the thought vacuum. Now, this exercise right here, just whenever you catch yourself thinking about negative habits, I did this exercise a couple times, and it actually is very effective. It helps you really clear your mind or just keep it steady. When you're doing it, just start saying dot, 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 dot. Whenever you see any negative habits, just start saying dot, 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 dot in your head, and it should like keep your mind blank for a second. Now, I'm about to read the exercise out to y'all right now. The thought vacuum. This simple exercise will rid you of all feeling of self, so you can cast off your fears, doubts about pleasing others, your antagonism, your urges to surpass, subjugate, impress, or look down on others. It rids you of the opposite urges, the urge to feel inferior to others or to dread that you cannot please them. No matter how hard you try, you will have the base of a dominating mind. Alone in your room, imagine yourself on the sidewalk, running into someone you dislike. He arouses inferiority feelings in you and destroy your natural charm. But since it is impossible to avoid him, he is the ideal subject with whom to practice this exercise, both in your imagination and in actual life. The moment you lay eyes on him, convert your mind into a mental blank by banishing every thought form. To achieve this, do this with thought vacuum. Stare at an insignificant spot on the wall and repeat yourself dot, dot, dot. Now project to him the kindest thoughts and fill yourself with the eagerness to meet him. Ask you to draw near, exclaim, so glad to see you again. Prevent all introspection from returning to you by thinking again, dot, dot, dot. Grin at him. Stare at the bridge of his nose directly between his eyes. Do not stare into the eyes or you will perceive unfriendly glare. But he believes that you are staring into his eyes. Don't wait for his reply, but add something meaningless to what you said, something about the weather. For instance, you will learn more about harmonious conversation in a later law. Continue grinning and staring at the bridge of its nose. March on with that routine. You can move past him without really seeing or being rude to him. How this exercise helps you with everybody you associate with. The basis of this exercise, the dominating mind, is mastered faster when you practice it in private with an obnoxious person in mind. Then when it practice in person, a well-behaved friend or relative will prove you with the obnoxious person, even when he is not present, you will encounter fierce personality resistance. This one exercise, all you need to master the basis of a dominating mind. It rids you of doubts, fears from people, not by building up tension with the suggestions to courage and confidence, but by limiting the emotional reaction to others. It leaves your mind unaffected in its immediate social environment so that it responds only to suggestions which you yourself put it into. It teaches you how to meet the blows of rudeness, not with your chin, but relaxing and rolling with them. It enables you to meet and walk past the unpleasant and individual without being shaken up by the encounter. Last and the most important, it keeps your head cool, ready to apply the laws of mental domination on them. When applied to the average or better bred person, the basis of the dominating mind captivates him instantly. He is impressed by your staring into his eyes, and the psychic receives no unfriendly telepathic messages from you. With your mind and mental blank projecting only the best feelings for him, and when he receives the wavelengths of your well-intentioned thoughts, he is stirred by them. Your very expression altered by the frame of mind. This will be explained fully in Law 4, Song Dala, how to develop the overwhelming gaze. Your mental blank purifies your thinking, so to speak. Just before you meet the individual, he feels irresistible rapport with you before you utter a word. How the dominating mind works for you with the first law of the mental domination. Master it right away by practicing the thought vacuum. Now, I work at a store right now, and I think I've been practicing some of the laws in here, but this law for sure helped me a lot. I'm just naturally just a self-conscious person. I can't help but just, think about like, oh, well, they don't like me. And I mean, and that's just because my own thoughts. Like I said, I know people, I understand everybody not supposed to like you, but it's just like, I don't know. I think I'm just like such an eccentric person, and I grew up very weird. People calling me weird. So when I speak to people and when I talk to people, I have the first thing that come to mind is like, damn, like I think that I'd be worried about what they be thinking about, even though it's none of my business. But I would think that they'd be like, damn, like this nigga really weird. This person is really weird, and I would feel some type of way about it. So this exercise helped me tremendously with the, just trying to keep a positive attitude. This book, period, I read some of these chapters later on, and I just came back because I wanted to record and talk about it. But it helped with your self-consciousness and helped with just your body language, period. It helped with you, like, help me with, like, from reading this book, it helped me, like, fix my body language and not want to be so, like, I just go around, like, with a mean face, like, a very serious face. Even though I'm very vibrant of a person. I'm very positive of a person. Like, if I don't have like my straight face or like my mean face on, I'm laughing or I got a smile on my face. That's just how I am naturally. But I understand that my message, and like I said, and not my message, but how I'm perceived and how like I walk around and how my body language is naturally, I give off vibes of, like I'm up to no good. Even though most times I'm not. Like I said, I'm very positive a person, and I'm just chill. I'm a chill person. But yeah, this book helped me with that a lot. So yeah, that's the first law. I'm gonna do the next law soon. If y'all like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see y'all later. Thank you.